Hello children, I'm sure you're doing well. Children, are you enjoying all the stories and poems? I'm sure you are. So children, here we are together again to enjoy a story of one of the major qualities of humans, that is courage. बच्चों, आज हम एक कहानी पढ़ेंगे जिसमें कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटी के बारे में बताया गया है और वो है बहादुरी. The title of the story is William Tell. William Tell was a kind and gentle man. He was tall and strong, broad and shapely. There was a look of bright happiness in his eyes. He lived in the lakeside town of Altdorf in Switzerland. His home was among the mountains nearby. He was the best bowman in the country and also a skillful sailor. He was popular with the local people for his shooting and sailing skills. बच्चों, विलियम टेल एक बहुत ही बहादुर इंसान था और वो एक सेलर भी था और एक बहुत ही मशहूर तीरंदाज भी था. That is called bowman. The Swiss have always been a freedom-loving nation, but at that time they were under the cruel rule of the Duke of Austria. He had appointed a governor called Gessler to rule the Swiss. Gessler was a wicked tyrant. The people of the country were fed up with his tyranny. He made their lives like hell. They had to pay heavy taxes and tolerate all sort of humiliations. Children, at that time, the country was controlled by Gessler, who was a very wicked tyrant. Here, tyrant means a very cruel person. बहुत ही क्रूर इंसान जो सबको ह्यूमिलिएट करता था और उसने सब लोगों का जीवन बहुत ही मुश्किल किया था. Tyrant, cruel person. However, Gessler was afraid of William Tell because he was the only man who stood against him. William Tell was a bold and freedom-loving man. He feared none. But he didn't want to quarrel with Gessler for his son. So he lived in the mountains. Gessler सिर्फ एक ही इंसान से डरता था, वो था विलियम टेल, बिकॉज वो बहुत ही बहादुर था. लेकिन विलियम टेल उससे उलझता नहीं था, उससे लड़ना नहीं चाहता था क्योंकि उसका एक बेटा था और वो नहीं चाहता था उसे कोई नुकसान पहुंचे. इसलिए विलियम अलग से माउंटेन्स पे पहाड़ों पर रहता था. The hat of the Duke of Austria was put up on a long pole in the market square. Everyone who passed by had to salute the hat. The soldiers stood by to make everybody bow to the Duke's hat. बच्चों, ड्यूक की जो एक टोपी थी उसे पूरे मार्केट में रखा था और सोल्जर्स का ये काम था कि सब लोग उसे सल्यूट करें एक खाली टोपी को. उनका यही काम था. One day, William went to the marketplace with his son. He was surprised to see people bowing down before that hat. A soldier came to him and asked to go and bow down before the hat. विलियम के साथ भी वैसा ही हुआ. एक सोल्जर आया और विलियम को कहा कि तुम भी सब लोगों की तरह उस हैट को सल्यूट करो. Salute, he ordered William. I don't bow to any man's empty hat, replied William boldly. With head held high, he walked across the square along with his little son. More soldiers surrounded William Tell. They ordered, salute the Duke's hat or we'll arrest you. विलियम ने उस खाली हैट को सल्यूट करने से साफ मना कर दिया. ये सुनकर सारे सोल्जर्स उसके आसपास आ गए और उसे प्रेशराइज करने लगे, उसे धमकी देने लगे. I have done nothing wrong. How can you arrest me? William replied. Meanwhile, a crowd gathered around them. The crowd was on William Tell's side. सब लोग विलियम को पहले से ही बहुत पसंद करते थे और वो उसी की साइड लेने लगे. If William Tell does not want to do something, no one can make him do it, said one of the onlookers. Children, onlookers here means one of the person from the crowd. The soldiers felt insulted. They became angry and arrested William Tell and took him to Gessler, the governor appointed by the Duke. Soldiers को बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं लगा और उन्हें बहुत insulted feel हुआ. William Tell refused to bow to the hat and was passing proudly by. They reported, and he is making others insulted. उन्हें ऐसा लगा कि विलियम दूसरों को भी भड़का रहा है और सब लोग अब सोल्जर्स की इंसल्ट कर रहे हैं. That is not true, protested Tell. Gessler was delighted to see Tell arrested. Now he would lock him up for the rest of his life. He will never have an opportunity to lead the people against him. He looked at William arrogantly. William stood straight and looked at Gessler without fear. It made Gessler very angry. He wanted Tell to be afraid and beg for mercy. जब टेल को जेस्लर के पास लाया गया तो वो बहुत ही खुश हुआ कि अब तो बदला लेने का वक्त आ गया है. वो ये मौका छोड़ना ही नहीं चाहता था, लेकिन विलियम बिल्कुल भी घबरा नहीं रहा था. इससे जेस्लर और गुस्सा होने लगा. वो चाहता था कि वो उसके सामने गिड़गिड़ाए. Just then, Tell's young son came forward and took hold of his father's hand. इतने में विलियम का बेटा उसके पास आ गया और उसका हाथ पकड़ लिया. Gessler thought a wicked plan to punish Tell. He caught the boy's arm. Please do not harm my son. He is innocent, said Tell. I'll do no harm to him, said Gessler with a cruel laugh. If anyone harms him, it will be you. He ordered the soldiers to tie the boy to a tree at some distance. An apple was placed on his head. अब Gessler टेल से बदला लेने लगा था. उसने उसके बेटे को पकड़ा और एक पेड़ से बांध दिया. I have heard that you are a very skillful bowman. I want to test your skill. If you can cut this apple into 2 pieces from a distance of 200 paces, I'll spare your life, Gessler said laughingly. Gessler बहुत ही विकिड तरीके से बिहेव कर रहा था और उसने कहा कि अगर उस एप्पल को 2 टुकड़ों में काट दिया जाएगा जब विलियम एक तीर चलाएगा, तभी वह उस बच्चे को छोड़ेगा. स्पेयर मीन्स यहाँ छोड़ना. Tell loved his son more than his own life. How could I take such a chance which might kill my own son? Would it not be better to spend the rest of my life in prison than to risk the life of my son? Thought he. विलियम ने सोचा कि ये बहुत बड़ा रिस्क है. इससे अच्छा तो मैं सारी ज़िंदगी एक जेल में काट लूँ, क्योंकि पता नहीं कि वो तीर ठीक लगे या ना लगे. Gessler was smiling with glee when he saw William's sad face. I don't want to shoot. Let me die, said Tell. But we will break the boy's neck first, said the cruel tyrant, and you will see your son die right in front of your eyes. विलियम वो तीर चलाना ही नहीं चाहता था. वो जेल जाने के लिए भी तैयार हो गया था, लेकिन जेस्लर फिर भी उसके बेटे को नहीं छोड़ रहा था. तो उसने कहा फिर भी मैं उसकी गर्दन तोड़ दूंगा पहले या उसे हार्म पहुंचाऊंगा. Tell's eyes flashed with anger. Give me the bow, he said. Then he took out 2 arrows from his quiver and struck one in his belt. He bowed his head and stood for a moment in prayer. He then raised his head and took aim. The onlookers held their breath. Children, the phrase held their breath means कि सारे जो लोग थे आसपास खड़े थे उनकी सांसें थम गई, रुक गई, क्योंकि बहुत ही टेंशन वाला माहौल हो गया था. Held their breath. Twang! The arrow shot forward, split the apple into 2 pieces and buried itself deep in the tree. जैसे ही विलियम ने तीर चलाया, जो एप्पल था वो 2 टुकड़ों में बट गया, यानी निशाना एकदम ठीक लगा. The next moment the people saw the apple fall, one piece on either side. Chesler was very upset. Chesler को बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं लगा क्योंकि उसका सारा प्लान तो फेल हो गया. That was a good shot, said Chesler. But tell me why you took 2 arrows and stuck one in your belt. If I missed by aim with the first, said William, I would have sent the second to pierce your black heart. विलियम जो कि बहुत ही करेजियस था, बिल्कुल भी नहीं डरा और कहा अगर मेरा पहला निशाना मिस होता तो मैं दूसरे तीर से तुम्हें मार देता. Chesler became very angry to hear this. He ordered the soldiers to take him across the lake to the Cassandra castle and throw him to dogs and wolves in the cellar. बच्चों, ये सुन के Chesler बहुत ही गुस्सा हो गया. वो अभी भी नहीं बदल रहा था और उसने अपने सोल्जर्स को, अपने सिपाहियों को ऑर्डर किया कि विलियम को ले जाए कासल में और बंद कर दे एक सेलर में, एक छोटा सा सेल, एक काल कोठरी. सेलर हियर मीन्स अ स्मॉल सेल. Tell was put in chains and taken to a boat. Tell made a gesture to his son to run home and wait for him there. Children, gesture here means एक इशारा, one action without speaking. So tell ने एक इशारा किया अपने बेटे को कि चुपके से वहां से भाग जाए और उसका इंतजार करे. Gesture. The soldiers rowed the boat to cross the lake. But as the boat reached deep water, a storm broke and blew it off its course. Only William Tell could sail a boat in this weather, cried the boatman. The soldiers took off his chains and asked to take the tiller. बच्चों, सबको पता था कि विलियम एक बहुत अच्छा सेलर है. जब तूफान आया तो सोल्जर्स को उसके हाथ खोलने पड़े क्योंकि वो ही बोट अच्छे से चला सकता था. William Tell quickly brought the boat under control. But instead of trying to cross the lake, he turned the boat round and sailed back towards the shore. Tell brought the boat to a jagged rock. The next moment, the boat broke into two. Tell grabbed a loaded crossbow from a soldier and leapt out of the sinking boat. Here, the meaning of leapt means to jump out. The drowning Austrians saw him jump on to the rock and run out of sight. अब वो बोट थी, वो सिंक हो रही थी. सब ऑस्ट्रियंस ने देखा उसे कि वो धीरे से कहीं भाग रहा है और एकदम गायब हो गया, जबकि उनकी बोट तो ड्राउन हो रही थी, डूब रही थी. Tell hid himself by the roadside and waited. After some time, Chesler came that way, riding on his horse in search for Tell. Tell, who was waiting for him, bent his bow and let fly the arrow. Chesler dropped dead from his shore. तो courageous Tell ने आखिर में Chesler को एक तीर से मार दिया, जो कि उसे ढूंढते ढूंढते अभी भी वहां पर आया था. Then William Tell made the peasants rise against the Austrians. Children, here the meaning of peasants is farmers. Tell ने सब farmers को एकजुट किया और Austrians के खिलाफ खड़ा किया. They defeated their oppressors and drove them out of their country. Once again, the Swiss nation was free. So William Tell helped everybody to get free. So children, this was the story of courage and grit. I'm sure you loved it. Do read it properly again and attempt the book exercises.